Tod and Co, thank you so much for joining me today.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Co, you recently purchased part of Todd's territory and became a TSS franchise owner. But your time with TSS actually started a number of years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and your first go around with TSS?
Yeah, James. Well, I graduated in college in '96, just going in there for the arts overall, and end up photography kind of being the lead concentration. And got out, worked in every camera shop in the Charlottesville area, just about kind of one foot in the door there for a paycheck and, photography on the side. And then I ran into Paul Simpson, who was a TSS owner. It seems like a million years ago, at least 20 years ago, 2003-ish. We were shooting film, it was a long time ago, but I enjoyed doing that for 3 or 4 months. No, 3 or 4 years. And kind of started shooting for UVA about that time as well. So that started picking up, still working at the camera shops. But I always enjoyed going to the shoots, meeting the parents, and just photographing kids. You have a split second to be able to try to get that one shot. And I don't kind of like the challenge of listening to the parents in the background. Oh, Jimmy's smiling really good. I like that. And or you don't like that, and you click a couple more and make sure you hit it. So that's kind of how all of it started in my interest of this way back when.
You sold part of your territory here.
Yeah.
What led you to deciding to sell part of it, and how were you able to connect or reconnect with Co?
Well, I have a really big geographic area that I'm covering right now. From where I live in the center of my territory, I can drive about an hour and a half south, an hour to an hour and a half north, and was just interested in honing in my territory a little bit so I could focus more on.
I was going to say, I think we should mention you actually acquired the territory, the franchise that Co worked for previously.
Yes. So Paul, who he mentioned, his wife got transferred to New York State with her job. They were moving. He advertised the territory was for sale, and I actually purchased Paul's territory. And he actually said to me, "Hey, I got this photographer named Co." And he said to me, "Hey, if you sell that territory to Tod, tell him I want to keep working with him." And it made for an easier transition for me, because at the very beginning, actually, Co did work for me at a couple of events and said,
I forgot about
familiar
that.
with this field. I know this location. These folks are really organized, and this group is really good to work with. And it was helpful to start something brand new with someone who had actually had some experience with someone. And over the years, Co and I had stayed, connected just as photographers in Charlottesville. And when I decided I was thinking about I was trying to sell part of my territory, I was reaching out to some area photographers, and I had the thought, well, Co might be one person to reach out to, since he's a little bit familiar with TSS from his past work with us. And so I made the phone call, and here we are. He's got part of my territory now. So
I know you had initially invited Co to one of your events to see what it's been like. It was a number of years. There's been plenty of years in between Co's last event and then that one event that he had come and witnessed. Co, what are some of the changes you saw at that first event you visited, and what ultimately led you to decide, hey, this is the right time for me to purchase a TSS franchise?
Yeah, so I remember it. Tod contacted me like the 1st of November of last year, and it's really not that long ago in the scheme of things. It's not even a year yet, but there was a long email, and it kind of just more of a reconnection, because I've seen him at the photography shops and out and about and everything. But he asked if I could work, in Thanksgiving, Christmas, couple things, and oh, by the way, would you have interest in a franchise? So then it's like the gears are turning to start thinking and whatnot, and it just brought back memories of everything. And then we had a meeting, and he showed me photo match and showed me the changes, and I just kind of walked out of there with my mouth kind of to the floor. I couldn't believe it. It's big. I mean, it's obviously that would be the course of it, but I hadn't, put the simplest 2 and 2 together. Like, gosh, this has changed a lot. but yeah, it piqued my interest. So yeah, kind of here we are. I think I missed some of the question there, but it's 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 still in the infancy for me still,
Right.
learning everything. But yeah, that's how it came about.
In a nutshell, when co-worked with Paul, and even when I first started, we were all doing paper order forms, and it was a whole different process. And now the fact that we are using no forms, and that PhotoMatch has the ability to match up the kids' names with the pictures right on the tablet, and the parents get emailed the pictures and they can view them online, order them themselves, and the products get shipped right to the parents' door. That whole transition was eye-opening. And I really wanted to share that with Co and say, hey, things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's not the same amount of paperwork and administrative office work that it used to be.
Not anymore.
We came back from a photo shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about, again, it's only been a couple of months, but tell us a little bit about your experience, both Todd's side of it, Co's side of it. How has it been with the organizations that you worked with since the transition? Just tell us a little bit about these last couple of months.
Well, we kind of hit the ground running in January. We had Nelson County Parks and Rec, and at first it was a lot with the software, learning and everything. But it just, if in this day and age, if you know your way around a computer, which I would say just about everybody does, getting into something like this for the most part, it's just, it takes time sitting around and you click and you're like, well, that's wrong. And then you figure it out and do it the right way. Probably the main thing though is y'all are a chat away, a call away, email away. The mom resources, the core knowledge online. Tod is a text away, which I've leaned on him a good bit, which is always much appreciative. Yeah, so it's made it it's made it so much easier. You're not just like thrown into everything and like, well, you go figure it out. You have so much support. It's almost ridiculous, if you will, in a good way.
I wanted it to be a smooth transition, and I wanted my customers to make sure that I wasn't just leaving them high and dry.
Yeah.
So I went on a couple of shoots with Co at the beginning so that those shoot directors and those league directors could see me with Co, and I would introduce him and say, here's the gentleman who's going to be taking over the accounts right now in your area. And also being there to give support to Co for showing him what might happen at a photo shoot, how to deal with certain issues, how to set things up for the best results, and making sure that everything went smoothly at those first events. So we went on a couple of events. We planned it that way, that I would go and be an assistant to him or be a photographer alongside him so that we could make sure that everything went smoothly at those first few events.
Well, you're very proud of the relationships you built with those organizations, and you wanted to certainly ensure a smooth transition, and we definitely have done that. Last question, Co. Individuals that are looking at TSS franchise opportunity, any advice for them?
Only buy territories from Tod Cohen.
Thank you very much.
Well, that is 100% serious, but I mean, probably one main thing is when you do it, just selecting a good amount of staff. I mean, really, trying to cherry pick the best people you can. And that in reality would make you feel more comfortable doing it, because as we all know, what we touched on earlier, when you're getting into it, you want to be at each event, that you can, and you hate to push people out. But when you have good people, then you feel way more comfortable that they're, capable of doing everything that needs to be done.
And that gives you the opportunity to grow your business too, when you could
100%. Yeah.
Events on a certain day.
And one thing that Tod did with me that I thought was very, very helpful was when we went out to the shoots, we did one shoot one way, just regular with backdrops and individuals. One of the other shoots, we had it so it was going through and the parents were getting the images immediately. Then the other one we did virtual teams and everything. So he kind of exposed me to 3 different ways of doing it, so I could pick what I thought was better. And one way is not always the right way. Each different event might be you want to mix and match, or this is a tight schedule. We might want to just do virtual everything. Not that we have to, but for ease of everybody there. So it was nice to have exposure of different ways to do everything. It was extremely helpful.
No, there's certainly no one size fits all here. A lot of times it's the organization selecting or electing what option to go with. We provide them with, we show them what we have to offer. They'll select the one that they think works best. Sometimes we'll tinker that a little, yes, because we have the experience, but giving them those options, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Tod, I'll throw it over to you. Have a joke to end this with, or?
A joke? No, I just want to say I'm glad that Code was interested in taking over my territory.
We are.
He's a good guy, and I know he's going to take good care of my customers, and I'm happy to help make the transition smooth for him and for my customers. I think it's been a real win-win for everybody.
Definitely.
Well, you mean his customers now? Your former, they're his now.
That's right.
Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you very much.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, James.